Previously on the experts panel.
Well, his face was probably so sticky after that.
I like how we all stare at her.
When they have the mirror, they're like, oh. But please don't come back. Here's...
Is LED or UV cured glue safe?
So there's the concern with the UV is that it's actually, it is proven that UV penetration in the eye can damage the eyeball. So I personally am uncomfortable with that concept. However, we brought this up in our board meeting on Monday or yesterday, and we just intend to do more research on it so that we can get actual experts in, ophthalmologists, and all the different people that we plan to reach out to for that.
And I do think the ones that are on the market right now are mainly LED and not UV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a lot of studying years ago about the skin and UV and things like that. So as I say, me personally, I don't think it's okay to use UV. However, we are going to contact the experts. And as far as LED, I have no personal idea whatsoever. I think we all agreed that none of us are experts on that. So we are going to contact our expert collaborators.
And I think we should also mention too that it's really important to reach out to your insurance provider and ask them what their thoughts are as well. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a big concern too, because sometimes we bring these things in and we have heard stories that insurance companies said, I will not approve you for the LED cured, I will not approve you for the UV cured adhesives. So checking into things like that too. But that is, I think, our first question we're not really comfortable answering yet, because aside from a couple of personal thoughts, we still have to confer with our experts on that one. So watch the space. We'll get back to you.
Pew, 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 pew.
It's like coming soon. Hopefully an answer.
What are some of the most important safety considerations that lash artists should have when working with clients?
Safety so just in general.
Are we talking about like with the client in your building?
Let's cover it all.
Oh, how much time do we have?
I was gonna say safety for your building is a huge one.
It is. A lot of people don't realize, like, they set up their space and they want it to look pretty, but and there's simple little things like tripping hazards, the flow of
like a fire extinguisher based on so many square footage. Like if your space is 500, you have to have one depending on where you are.
Where you're
it
storing
doesn't
your
matter,
flammables.
right? It doesn't matter if there's a stove or a fireplace in there. You still need to have one.
Yeah. So there's fire code.
Yeah.
Right, which is the different. Like certain things can't be in the way. Has to be clear access to 2 exits.
Yeah.
And then just the common sense setup stuff, and like, not having cords running across the floor for them to trip over. Things like that. There's a lot of different safety considerations.
As you gesture.
Yeah, I'm like all these ones that Emily has laid out for the camera equipment.
Yep.
There should be mats over those.
Disclaimer, it should be like yellow tape and like those little bump things.
Yeah, like a little road bump.
Disclaimer, don't do what we did.
Disclaimer, don't trip.
She's recording it for us.
Don't do this. Yeah. So there's the room set up. But
Air quality.
Air quality.
Yeah.
Because you need the ventilation. You also, because some rooms may not have, not even a window or anything.
So you want like an extraction fan, and you want like an air purifier, like
to
all
have
the
really
stuff.
good HVAC setup is great.
Yes. Yes.
If you can.
There are portable ones.
Yep.
Yeah, and then if you're in a space that doesn't have good ventilation, I know there's the Aerovex Whisper you could invest in. It's fairly quiet, and that like filters out the air for you specifically for lash products.
Just putting plants in your room is also not beneficial. I just want
Like
to put
by
plants.
itself,
Doesn't
you
do it
mean?
by
It
itself.
doesn't do it by
I was like,
itself.
I like plants in my room.
Yeah, it's great. They're nice. I love plants,
But not enough.
but they're not going to help you with lashing.
Like alone.
alone. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, you need something that actually removes the VOCs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the volatile organic compounds that are emitted from our adhesive, you need something that is removing those from the air. So there's a few different ways, like we just mentioned. But then there's also safety considerations for just like applying lashes, I guess. we're sort of hitting
Take
it
a
all
good
here.
course. Make sure you take a good course.
Yeah, be educated. Yeah, from an accredited academy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And important, I think, it's separate the space, no? Like the hospitals, black zone, white zone, gray zone,
Yeah.
for use the different levels of the contamination.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
to have your clean
Absolutely,
zone,
yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, all those things. Again, if you're taking a quality course, you're taught all these things in that programming. So it's, yeah. I think Emily has a video. Do you have a video of the clean zone on BeautyPro Media?
In the iPad?
Okay,
program?
just in the course. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Emily
mean-
teaches
oh, do you
that
mean
in
like
her
on
iPad
YouTube?
course. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I don't.
I know you did a video of how to cut your trays. I wasn't sure if you did a video of the clean
No,
zone
but
as well.
I could. Yeah, I don't, but I could.
Yeah, you're right. I'm picturing it because you teach it in your
Yeah,
iPad course. Yeah, infection prevention and control course.
Plug.
Like, yeah.
BeautyPromedia.com.
All kinds of things. Yeah, you can learn all kinds of great things on there about safety considerations and hygiene. So
Yeah.
Or with clients, the use of special mask, a special lens, a special light.
Oh yeah, ergonomics.
Our ergonomics band,
yes, our ergonomics
Right.
of
the use of gloves,
course.
the use of, I don't know how to say,
Like hairband?
Like the visor.
for cover the hair,
Oh, a hairnet.
the hairnet.
So personal protection equipment.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
the PPE.
yes,
PPE.
yes.
Yeah.
But also like magnifiers, proper lighting, like protect your body too.
Yeah.
Of course. All of a sudden we're like, yeah, there's a lot we have to
Yeah,
figure out.
everything,
Yeah.
basically.
A lot of us come into this industry thinking, I'll just learn how to put on lashes, and then you realize like there's a lot to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, like I have a custom made bed. My legs can go underneath of it. My feet are flat on the ground.
Yes.
I never have back problems.
I have an electric.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
have
Best
electric.
purchase
I had the
ever.
electric massage table. It was the best because
Yeah.
every client is so different, and then
Yes.
where they lay on the bed, I could just adjust the bed so they were where I
Yeah.
needed them to be.
Yeah, whereas my chair adjusts up and
And,
down.
and if they're pregnant, I can incline them.
Yep.
And I sit on an exercise ball that doesn't adjust, but it was between those two things, my back and my shoulders were so much better.
Yeah.
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 I love it. Best purchase. It's
Yeah.
worth it. It's going to cost you a couple $1,000s, but it's so worth it.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, my bed cost me over $1,000 to get
Yeah.
custom
It was
made.
custom.
Because it was custom, yeah.
But how many hours a week do you do lashes?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, a
Don't
lot.
answer that.
a lot of
6 days a week, 10 hours days.
Okay, we don't recommend that.
Yeah. Don't,
Yeah.
don't do
I
that.
just like my clients a lot.
Yeah.
But I also say invest in opticals too, because it's not, we don't want to say age or anything about, oh, I can see it. It is amazing to get the proper eyewear because it gives us the finest detail to determine, to look at the lash, health of the lash, and you can really do the right consultation. I mean, invest in one because I invest in one and they custom size it to fit me just exactly right. It's the types that the dental surgeons use, so that I feel myself most confident. But for yourself, it's not about I can see. It's about what detail.
You can
Oh
see
my
all
gosh,
the
my
baby
first pair of
hairs.
magnifiers was a game changer. I was like, oh my god, my job just got so easy.
Oh, I
and
was
you're not
taught
like
with them.
this anymore.
Don't forget, sorry, the insurance.
Yes.
Insurance.
Yes,
that's
so important.
So important.
Waivers.
Yes,
Yeah.
waivers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rain. We were
Intake
missing that one.
forms.
Intake forms.
Consultation.
Yeah.
Consultation.
Yeah, so the intake form is what you use for consultation to get to know your client, but a waiver of liability is very important. You should never touch anyone without their signature on a waiver of liability.
Okay, Rain, we're ready for our next question.
Can mega volumes be applied for daily wear?
So this used to be a big concern when Mega Volume first came out. I think we didn't have like .03s and .02s. We didn't have such a light thing because there was a time where Mega Volume was kind of intended just for runway and fashion and portfolio and things like that.
Like a wedding.
Yeah.
For a wedding, for a prom.
But for now, it's really just if it's the proper weight and the proper length, then it's fine.
Yeah, like I think it's not so much like, is it appropriate to wear mega volume all the time? It's more about, are you assessing your client's lashes every time they come in to make sure that they're not thinning or, falling out prematurely?
And are you only putting Mega Volume on the clients who can handle it? Just
Yes.
like with Classic, it's the same
Yes.
rules
Yeah.
as Classic and Volume. We can't put it on everybody. Not everybody can handle the weight, the length. But it is possible now to make mega volume fans light enough for everyday wear?
Yeah.
So the answer is, if you're properly educated and properly assessing and properly applying the proper weights and the proper lengths,
Then yes.
then there's no reason why they can't wear it every day. Yeah.
And if the client is cleansing properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the client needs to be educated too.
Yeah.
That's actually the follow-up question is,
Oh, okay.
can mega volumes be properly cleansed? I find that my clients always have excess residue as opposed to others.
So they do need to be cleansed more vigorously, do
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
It is harder.
Yeah, so I provide brushes for my clients that are a little more, I guess, longer brush, so they can go right through it. I also encourage my clients that if they don't want to get mine, they can just get a cheap eyeshadow brush that's kind of stiff, but still soft enough to go through the lashes.
Yeah, they really want to like get in there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's,
Yeah, it's like
so
washing
again,
your
it's
hands.
Just, it's just understanding how to wash them
Yes.
properly and making sure the client knows that too.
Yes.
But then also when we do mega volume, we don't do 100% coverage either to to also avoid that overcrowding.
Depending on how tightly dense their lashes are, their natural
Naturally.
lashes.
Yeah. Because overcrowding also is going to probably increase the chance of blepharitis, things
Yeah.
like that, because
Yeah.
everything's just building up. So
Interfere
it's
with the cleansing.
definitely a different cleansing process and different concerns.
Yeah.
But again, with proper education and making sure the client has the right tools.
Yeah, and making sure you're talking to your clients about it, because you don't want that you just to be frustrated every time they come for a fill.
Yeah.
Have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if there's residue, sometimes I find that when clients are washing their lashes, they squeeze their eyes really tight, and so they're not actually rinsing off all the cleanser.
Is it true that you can get herpes in your eye?
Yes, it is true. It is not very uncommon. I mean, if you get a cold sore and you accidentally touch it and then you touch your eye, you can give it to yourself in your eye. Same with on your client, right? If you have the herpes virus on you somewhere and you touch your client's eye or you touch your eye, yes. And herpes of the eye is quite dangerous because it can cause permanent blindness. So it is very important to be really good with infection control, wearing gloves and things like that properly so that you can prevent any such cross-contamination.
Is this where we should talk about gloves and
Oh.
not cutting off the fingertips?
Yeah.
Because that's not beneficial to preventing anything.
That's my next big question.
Yeah, okay.
It is?
Oh, but
Okay.
also not
Okay.
just herpes though, there's a lot of other illnesses you can get, like
You can get
chlamydia,
chlamydia,
gonorrhea.
lots of things.
Yeah, all
It's a
sorts.
mucous membrane,
Yes.
so all the mucous membranes are
Yes.
susceptible to these really unfortunate viruses.
They are all susceptible. Some have a little bit more protection than others. Like if you expose yourself to viruses through your mouth, you have digestive enzymes and things like that that can fight off a lot of germs. Your eyes do have a little bit of that, but it's not as much.
Yep.
Yeah. So cutting fingers off gloves.
Is a no-go.
The purpose of wearing gloves is so that you don't cross-contaminate. So when you are cutting fingers off, you're basically like poking holes in a condom and then using it. Like it is no longer a barrier. So it is definitely not recommended. I think a lot of times people complain because when they're wearing gloves, they can't do the pinching method, but I assure you it can be done. It just takes practice and the right gloves that fit properly.
But also, if you're doing the pinching method, you should absolutely be wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Because our hands can only be sanitized, they can't be properly disinfected to
Yes.
the level. And then you're touching the extensions that you're adhering to your client. So bare hands, you're
You
contaminating the
transfer.
extensions
You
before you
transfer.
apply them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand if you learned to pinch with bare hands, there's gonna be some challenge to learning how to do it with gloves, but everyone should be wearing gloves, but especially if you're pinching.
And I mean, even if you just washed your hands before your service, we are constantly producing oil. We're constantly having cell turnover. So when you're touching something, you are leaving bits of you on it, on everything.
I'm going to
Sounds
add
really
on the
good.
gloves too, because, gloves need to fit, and especially to people that
Yeah.
are doing pinching, they're worried about, I'm not going to have that. For myself personally, I probably purchased from 10 different companies for extra small gloves, but you got to find the right company that really fits like a glove. And once you have that, it's actually no question in mind. But you do have, it's an investment, but after that, you can share the other gloves with your friends that fit them really nicely, because they don't really always understand how important it is. But
Yeah,
you
the
got to,
right fit.
the right fit, because after that, doesn't feel like you even have it. Another thing that we talked about too, besides just having it wash, still when you put on that glove, you just don't go right on and use it again. Wash your hands and everything in that glove, because anything on that glove someone else could have touched too. So those are my two things that I have to add on gloves.
I know you were saying when you first introduced gloves into your practice,
Mhm.
you thought, they don't fit properly, this is too hard, but you just kept shopping till you found one that fit you properly.
Yes.
Yes, that fit me
And then
properly.
it wasn't such a challenge to learn how to wear gloves and do all of your treatments.
Yeah, and even because I work on hair and makeup, so especially when I'm going to fashion shows, when we're working with hair and stuff, gel and stuff, again, how fast can you run to go wash your hand? Or if I just try to use alcohol. But with the gloves, I'm able to put brand new gloves. I have working on the person's hair and everything right after none. Guess what? The other artist would look at me, what's that? I didn't even touch her, contaminate that person's hair to yours. They were like really surprised. Next one is for makeup too. With the other gloves, same thing, makeup, foundation. There's certain things that I can also already clean and use that and again come off, because I'm only working with that individual. So it's no cross-contamination.
Yeah, and there are sometimes incidences when we're doing lashes where we discover it's like, oh, I just got contaminated. So same thing, to like properly remove the gloves, wash your hands, be able to replace them.
Yeah. I mean, I hated them at first. I really hated wearing gloves, but now if I have to just like touch something up, and like even on my own daughter, I do her cheer makeup. I still wear gloves when I do her cheer makeup because it just feels weird not to now.
Yeah, because
Like, it
now
feels
now it
wrong.
feels weird not to.
Yeah,
We just need to get used to things. Like change sometimes can be a little bit hard, but
It is, and
Yeah.
especially if you're using pinching method and you're used to it. But I assure you, and I know that it's possible because when I did a lash competition a few years ago, we did volume, and all the contestants had to wear gloves. And some of them weren't used to it, but they did. And the person who won first place in mega volume was wearing gloves and doing the pinching method, and she won first place, and that's not something she normally did in her studio.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
yeah, and it didn't hinder her obviously, because
If it
she ended
did,
up coming in first
yeah,
place,
even
so
if it
she's still
did,
doing well.
she still scored the highest.
Yeah, yeah. I think when we're reading the forums, it sounded like a lot of people were wearing gloves just to create a barrier between themselves and the client's forehead, which is why they were cutting the fingers out, because they're just trying to prevent like that oil transfer. They don't want to give their clients pimples, things like that. So I think we just wanted to make that point that it's a full barrier protection, and
Yeah.
you need to have your fingers covered also for all the reasons we've already said. So.
I just want to add, how about the people who crystallize the hard
With
side
their
with the
hands.
hands?
Yeah.
Remember, the adhesive never touch the skin.
Yeah, the adhesive should not touch. Yeah, so not only are you leaving pieces of you on it, but the adhesive is not supposed to touch your skin.
So you're exposing
all the
yourself.
reasons.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. All the reasons to wear the gloves.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on like if you are crystallizing, you need to act as like the manufacturer?
Sure. So now that you've brought up the crystallizing, if we're crystallizing lashes to save for later, you're taking on the role of the manufacturer now. So your process in doing that, when you set yourself up and you're pre-making your fans, you're pro-making your fans early for the next day, how you create them, how you store them, all of that, you need to now think like a manufacturer and keep every step of that sanitary, keep everything disinfected, store it so it stays disinfected, so that you're confident these fans that you're applying to your clients are still sanitary and everything has been properly disinfected.
That makes sense, but I had never even thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
this is my first time ever, like, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we teach definitely. If you want to do that, you're taking on the role of the manufacturer. So you need to have that sense of responsibility and go through the steps properly. Thank you, Rain, for pointing that out.
What's the difference between certification and accreditation?
Okay. Well, hopefully we all know, but I'll take this one. So certification is you have a piece of paper that is evidence that you've participated in something. So you've completed something, you've learned something. Accreditation means everything has been reviewed, and it's evidence that you're actually implementing all the things you learned. So when somebody takes a lash course and gets a lash certificate, it's a certificate of completion saying, I learned something, I did something, I have some new knowledge, but we still don't know what you're doing after you leave class.
Yeah.
And when people want to become educators through School for Lash Trainers, they earn a certificate that says they completed our course. We have now given them the knowledge on how to be an effective educator, what they should be teaching, how to teach it, how to be a good mentor, all kinds of great information, but we don't know what they're doing when they leave class. They could come and learn from us and still go teach something that doesn't meet our standards. When they earn the NALA Academy accreditation, that means we have evidence that their curriculum does meet the standard. We have thoroughly reviewed their manuals, we've thoroughly reviewed their curriculum and student resources, and everything either meets or exceeds industry standard. So a certification is a great thing. It really shows their credibility that they invested in a course and they were willing to take on this education. But then accreditation is basically us vouching for them. I can't think the word. They've been vetted, I guess, is that the word we use? They've been vetted by us. They've proven to us that their curriculums are exactly what students need. So that's the difference between, and they're both great. And I love to see a professional invest in herself that way. And I think it's really important if somebody wants to be an educator, that they are always investing in their own education and their own growth so that they can properly mentor everybody else. But that's the difference between the two levels. Does that make sense? Did I explain it well?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you were the best to explain that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And that was the last question? Oh, does anybody have anything they want to share with our audience before we wrap up today? Is there anything that's been on your minds that you want to bring out? I put y'all on the spot now.
Yeah, you
but-
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can just add something. I think that, knowledge has been very valuable. If you're, anybody's always interested, I would really put a plug for the team to take a look at the website, understand everything that we add in. We've been on board. We invest our personal time to add this value. This is for you, really, not just for us. So I thank every single one here, plus, giving me that opportunity to be and sit here with all these amazing ladies. So thank you, but you should take your time and take a look.
I feel honored to share space with all of you and all of our board members. Of course, we have a board of 12 or 13 fantastic ladies from all around the world and all different areas of the industry. And we volunteer our time because we love the industry. And I always try to say to the audience, for the Lash artists and educators, this is your association. We all show up to serve you. And again, we call this the experts panel, but of course we realize there are things we don't know too. We're volunteering ourselves to be that catalyst of information to where people can come. It's a safe place to talk about things, to ask about things, and we will always invest in finding the right answers, doing the research, talking to doctors, talking to ophthalmologists and scientists. We have a whole list of people that we need to reach out to again after this year's board meeting because we didn't have all the answers. So we just really
Levi,
try
if you tell me, I can say some words in Spanish
Yes.
for all the Latin American
Please.
people.
Okay.
Yes.
Pues miren, muchas gracias. Ojalá que todos puedan ver este video. Yo los invito a todas aquellas personas de habla hispana que se acerquen a NALA. Yo estoy segurísima que en Latinoamérica hay muchísimo talento y necesitamos tener esa visibilidad. Pero no solamente en el talento, sino también en los niveles, en los estándares que hay que seguir, que debe de ser muy elevado. Y la verdad es que NALA es un lugar, como decían ahora, es un lugar muy seguro, es un lugar donde hay mucha investigación. O sea, si ustedes se han dado cuenta, todo el tiempo hemos estado hablando de investigaciones y de hablar con expertos. Entonces, no nada más es algo inventado y pues queremos que más gente se una. No le tengan miedo al idioma. Afortunadamente, Levi tuve el honor de que me nombrara como la representante en español. Entonces, aprovechemos esta coyuntura, aprovechemos esta oportunidad. Durante muchos años nosotros no teníamos acceso a este tipo de información precisamente por la barrera del idioma, pero pues este es el momento de aprovechar y los invitamos a que se unan a NALA, porque de verdad esto está creciendo mucho y buscamos a los mejores artistas para elevar los estándares. Thank you so much.
Don't look at me. I'm not going to speak Cantonese.
What?
She just covered.
I promise, grow the subtitles.
Like, you look at me, I'm like, I'm not doing Chinese. That's not happening.
French?
Oh gosh, no. Gosh, no.
They can really hear
After that, no.
You can do Cantonese, right?
I can, but I'm not. I do take
Apparently,
Latin.
we won't be getting this in Cantonese
Or in French.
or-
Not today, anyways.
And we talked a little bit about the forums yesterday and the day before as well, and I love the forums. I think it's such a beautiful thing that we're in this industry where all of us are just so eager to help each other and to share with each other. And I love to see that on the forums. I think it's so beautiful. I'm so proud to be part of this industry where we take care of each other. But it's sometimes we have to be careful. The forums are great for camaraderie and support and community, but when it comes to actual something that could affect your client or something that could affect your business, get your advice from your peers, but then always just verify it or go back to your educator to confirm it or to say, oh, I heard this, and just look a little bit more into it. Just have a little bit more critical thinking, because like we talked about tonight, there are things that just we learned 10 years ago and it's actually not relevant anymore, but we're still passing that on to each other. And I'm sure I've been guilty of it, and we've all been guilty of that at one point or another. But it's just, verifying, double checking things. And because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your business and for your clients. You're the one liable, and you're the one who, you're potentially opening yourself up to something negative happening in your business. So we never want that to happen. So use the forums, reach out. You can always contact Nala. We have a lot of information on the website. Go back to your educator when you have questions and just do your research. And let's keep being this great community of lash artists and educators that we are. I love the lash industry so much. Yeah. And we're accomplishing a lot of great things as collaborators, not competitors.
Yeah.
And if any of us said anything today that is also incorrect or outdated, please let us know so we can update ourselves as well. Yeah. Should we just jump right into the herpes?
Yeah.
Straight fun.
We have to do
Loving
straight
it. Hey girl, come around here often?
I do, actually.
Well, the answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
N-O! Exclamation mark. Herpes. Do you want me to, like, if I see anything, just be like, hey?
Yeah. That's a wrap.
Yep.
That's Baby Shark. Or like Grandma Shark.
Baby shark.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry.
No, we're okay.
Why?
I'm sorry.
It's there forever now.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll do this again.